Come on, that's a funny title. Yeah. He also picked up new followers, apparently. T Blaze wasn't follower. Oh, he raided. Alright, now as for the music. Oh! Duh! My boys actually said to use them. What did I call? What are they called? Shit. I tweeted them. Where's my phone? I don't know. Where's my... I'll just go to Twitter. Base Rebels. They have actually said they won't claim. And if they do, I will fucking personally yell at them because they still follow me. I've been using them. Remember, these are the ones I used to use all the time, right? Yeah, 2-hour mix will do. Don't worry, there's nobody here. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Should be good now.
Okay.
Even though we are out of reach, I can feel the water on my feet. The things that you said to me, they will grow inside, they make believe. I am still dancing on the feelings that you gave me. I am still dancing on the feelings that you give me.
everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube and Twitch channels. I am here to have a fucked up Friday because oh boy, we've got a bunch of shit. And I think Trudeau is officially broken, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. But yeah. We're here to have a fun stream. It is Friday. We're gonna do tons of videos, including an interview that Trudeau did on a 900 subscriber podcast or YouTube channel. But yeah, I've got a lot of stuff, but today I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Last night's gaming stream was a shambles because for some reason the capture card wasn't capturing, but hopefully that will be fixed later, and I will be able to do another gaming stream. And that I think I'm going to stick with Ashra Serena for the tournament because as fun as Cyrax is, I feel like I don't have the time to necessarily learn all of the Cyrax setups that I need. So, hey, a shout out from Ontario as well. Don't you know that it's rude to talk about our PM Trudeau, honestly? Oh, well, consider me rude, then. Consider me rude, then. Because I'm going to do many of those things. So, yeah. It's gonna get interesting. Like I said, we've got a full list of shenanigans to go through. It's gonna be fun, I think. Anyway. Isn't Haliburton a beach town? Never been there. I don't know. I don't know, actually. Okay. So, for our first video, we're going to jump into JoJo Siwa land. Because apparently she's getting worse. What? Isn't Haliburton Dick Cheney's company? Or was that Enron? Ow. Okay, so before we get into the JoJo Siwa land of the funny kind. What? Enron or Haliburton? Alright, let's pop over here. I've got JoJo Siwa's little... I want to know what she's been doing. Because the last thing I heard from her was when she was defending Colleen Ballinger, which was really weird. So let's see. I think, yeah, the last time I heard from her, she was on Colleen Ballinger's defense. So let's see what she's up to now. I want to know how she could possibly get any worse.
Is the best music artist out right now. She can dance. She has the best song. JoJo Siwa is the best music artist out right now. She can dance. She has the best song ratings. And last but not least, she can sing in different languages.
Halliburton is the military contractor. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
She can sing in different languages. That's
What the fuck was that?
sing in different languages. That's
What the fuck is that? What kind of language is that? Is that a call to the mothership? I'm confused.
it was not in Polish. If you guys haven't seen my last videos I did on JoJo Siwa, I encourage you to go check them out. But since then, she has somehow found a way to get worse. Because why is she wearing a fur ball? Like,
He got that shit on though.
anyways, before we dive into that, we first have to talk about why she's doing it in the first place. So over the past few months, JoJo Siwa has been going through a rebrand, but it should be called a manic episode. She
Oh god. Oh Jesus. What is she doing now? She's had a lot of weird shit. She's done a lot of weird shit in the past. How could this get any? How could
She's been
she
trying
top
to
it?
distance herself from the whole kid content star brand, you know, the thing that got her popular in the first place.
Yeah.
And she's trying to take on this new 18 plus persona where she like touches herself on stage and like humps stuff.
Oh.
But yeah, long story
Oh.
short, the rebrand hasn't been working out the way she wanted it to.
So she's trying to do what Miley Cyrus did, except very badly failing. Okay, I get it.
And the internet hates her. I mean, just look at the dislike amounts on one of her songs. It's literally the most disliked video of 2024. And no, I'm not kidding. And every other video she posts on her channel is just massively disliked. So some people
That's crazy. The people are just mass disliking her shit. Just, I guess, because it's that unlikable.
might be confused as to why she's receiving so much hate, and it really just goes back to the rebrand and her being unlikable. If there's one thing the internet hates more than criminals, it's someone who's unlikable. Being annoying and obnoxious is a surefire way everyone can hate on you freely because there's no one that wants to defend you. Why do we
That is true. If you make yourself unlikable online and you do something, people will not take kindly to you. Parody Bear, how you doing?
think trends like Karens are so popular? We just love to hate on unlikable people. For instance, take her reaction to her song Karma being the most disliked video in 2024.
That's crazy. The Karma is the actual most disliked video so far of the year.
An astonishing, record-breaking 3.1 million dislikes!
Like, why is she so happy about this?
Yeah, this feels like she's trying to go for the I don't give a fuck vibe, but it's failing because it's very obvious that she does give a fuck.
Did I miss something? I understand the concept of all publicity is good publicity, but the most disliked song is crazy. We also can't forget to talk about her insane dance moves, which I think she was just doing on purpose. Because look, there's no way anyone is this bad at dancing, and better yet, there's no way someone this bad at dancing is going to post about it. If this were me, these videos would be stored in a vault with all my other data. Just
Yeah, I don't like doing dance videos because I know I fucking suck at dancing. I don't understand the people that like knowingly dance badly and then post it.
Just because JoJo Siwa's life is an open book, what about the rest of us? Most people don't realize that even if we're not celebrities, our personal info is still
Oh, I
out there.
like that.
Protect these
That
data
was a good
brokers on your
segue.
behalf, demanding that they remove your personal details onto Incogni. It's really the day with Incogni. Trust me, it's Poland.
Yes.
Back to the video.
Okay, here we
Now that
go.
we have some backstory on the JoJo Siwa lore, we can now talk about what she's been up to lately. And it can honestly be described in one word, and it's Poland.
Yesterdays, tomorrows.
Oh, hell no, man. What the? Man,
Get your ass on.
I think this whole Poland thing started after her horrible Karma translation went viral.
Oh my god. That's her trying to translate karma into Polish? Holy shit. Oh my god. Like, she's not even singing. She's badly yelling Polish.
And after that is unfortunately when the Poland arc begins, because just 3 TikToks later, she is apparently on a flight to Poland. But
Poor
unfortunately
Poland.
for us,
I
the
feel
story
sorry
doesn't
for her-
stop
for
here.
them.
Get ready with me to travel to Poland. So,
You happy?
long story short, in the last couple of days, a couple of weeks,
Yeah, I'm what the French call 2 left feet. Yes, I am.
my song Yesterday's Tomorrow's Today has been blowing up in Poland. And funny enough, I actually happen to be Polish. That's a massive part of my family, part of my ancestry. There's the right word that I was looking for.
I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe that she's Polish. I really don't. Siwa, like, unless Jojo Siwa is just a stage name and her actual name is something Polish.
Even though I think JoJo is mental, I have to give her her props. Her song Yesterday's Tomorrow's Today is not that bad. But there is just one thing that she was lying about, and it's that her song was trending in Poland. Not only was her song not trending in Poland, it in fact wasn't trending anywhere.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Oh, God. That's crazy. That is not trending anywhere. And she's like, it's trending in Poland. Why Poland?
It probably wasn't even trending in her own home. I checked sites, Billboard charts, I asked ChatGPT, hell, even the people in her comment section who supposedly living in Poland said it wasn't trending there.
That's funny. You've got people in your own comments going, yeah, that's not true.
But I'll be nice and allow this one lie because the song isn't that bad and I prefer this more than Karma. But of course, JoJo is about to lie again for absolutely no reason.
Also, another branch of the song is because somebody asked if I was going to do it on Eurovision because it was going viral in Poland, and then someone was like, are you going to do this on Eurovision? And I initially jokingly replied to the comment saying yes, but now it's actually become a real conversation, and Eurovision's into it. We're talking with the people in Poland.
For those
So she's really hitting on this Poland thing, eh? And really insisting that she's gonna do this on Eurovision. She does look Polish? Okay. But she should leave Poland alone. It's too based for her. Yeah. that is true.
those who don't know what Eurovision is, I don't know either because I don't live in Europe.
This nigga is trash.
But from what I looked up about it, it seems to be a singing competition where one person from each European country goes and sings to represent their country.
Yeah, and she's not like a citizen of Poland. She may have Polish ancestry, but she is not a citizen of Poland. She is a citizen of the US. So why would she be on competing in Eurovision?
Now, JoJo Siwa was basically claiming that she was in talks with Eurovision about her potentially competing to represent Poland. And well, Eurovision responded and said they literally hadn't talked to her. Like, why would JoJo lie about that? Like, what's the point? I feel like 95% of her audience doesn't even know what Eurovision is, so her randomly lying about it just doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, that's just dumb. What's the point in saying, yeah, I'm in talks with Eurovision? It's totally happening, you guys. Like, but why?
But back to her Poland trip, I guess JoJo just went on a villain tour and decided to terrorize the streets of Poland with her dance moves, and then she just left. Luckily, Poland was able to survive JoJo this time, but I don't know if they'd survive a second JoJo attack. I'd have to say the funniest part of this whole Poland side quest were the comments on her posts. People were practically begging her to leave Poland, like,
That's hilarious. Please go away. We don't like you. We don't want you here. Please leave.
she was some kind of virus, with comments like, I shed a tear every time I see you on my For You page. Like, that is crazy. I personally love hating on JoJo just as much as the next guy, but some of these comments can be a little mean.
I personally shed a tear every time I see you on my For You page. God damn.
Like, she even responded to a comment from one of her videos that was hoping she had gotten hit by a truck that was passing by.
I'm all in for hate comments, but saying on my last post that the van missed me by a little bit, van was so close, that's not hate, that's fucked up.
And look,
Well, yeah, it is. It is kind of fucked up. Like, I don't like JoJo Siwa either, but I don't think I would comment that on a post.
I know I make videos calling her out for her trash music and stupid dances, but I'm never actually wishing her any harm or bodily injuries. Like, that's a bit much just for someone making trash music, like, come on now. But luckily for her, the hate seems to be turning around in her TikTok comment sections since she's come back to the States. And it started when she posted this dancing video.
So it's got no audio other than the sound.
What I've noticed recently is that anytime JoJo posts actual content like her dancing and it actually looks good, the comment sections are filled with overwhelming support. Even
Oh, it's almost like if she's not doing trashy things and doing, you know, good, happy content that people will engage with her.
if dancing isn't your cup of tea, we can admit that the dance at the very least looks choreographed, unlike her other performances. And since she's receiving this overwhelming support, it seems that people genuinely just want to see her authentic side. I really believe that if JoJo just stopped attention baiting and posted real content, she could turn all this hate around into positivity. But that's where I'm gonna leave it at today. Thank you guys so much for 240,000 subscribers. We've grown at an insane rate and hopefully we don't slow down. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.
Well, that was horrible that I had to hear her try to sing Polish, but I'm still gonna give him a... Oh, I've already given him a... I've already been subscribed. Let's see. Let's like it. Okay. Let's like that. Okay. Let's see here. So that was a very... Poor Poland. Seriously. Poor Poland. To have her inflict herself upon them like that. With that horrible, awful singing. Like, Jesus. It's just nutso to me. I cannot... I'm still listening to the horrible attempt at Polish in my head, and she's not even singing, she's yelling. Is that how she sings? Is that JoJo Siwa's singing voice, or can she actually sing? Now I'm morbidly curious. Ugh. Now I'm morbidly curious to see whether she can actually sing. But... Alright. So apparently... let's... Oh, does she? She scream sings, huh? I'm Italian. Oh, I'm Italian 1/4. I'm gonna go make a mockery of my cousins. Yeah, right? Then I'll head over to Germany, France, and Spain, and Britain, and give them a piece of my DNA. Oh, that's funny. That's too funny. Okay. So apparently celebrities are over and they don't know it yet. But we all knew that. We all knew that celebrities just keep doing their stupid celebrity bullshit and we're just watching them going, "Can you go away, please?" And they never do. And then they come on YouTube and gain like millions of subscribers like that because they're celebrity and their legacy. But that's another story for another day. Let's take a listen to this video.
And far from their larger-than-life status that they enjoyed not so long ago. Not only are audiences no longer buying their carefully constructed personas, but people are actively uncovering the ways that celebrities have been lying and manipulating their fans for years.
This is it. No breast implants, no surgery.
To make things even worse, previously lucrative streams of income like blockbuster films and hit TV shows are starting to dry up.
Yeah, because nobody wants to go to a theater anymore. Nobody wants to pay for cable anymore. Nobody wants to do any of that. They just want their streaming service, and they want their streaming service without ads, and they want their, they want it now.
To maintain their celebrity status, relevance, and large income, once elusive and mysterious stars have resorted to influencer behavior, taking on sponsorships and trying to connect with their audience in more authentic ways. But is this the right strategy? Or is it a signal that the age of celebrity is over?
I think it's more the signal that the age of celebrity is over. I think celebrities just don't understand the difference between I don't think they understand that. I really don't. I think that they think that they can just continue behaving the way that they behave and spending the way that they spend, and as long as they act like social media influencers, that people will follow them.
This is a question that Blake Lively must be pondering, or specifically if the age of her celebrity is over. For 17 years, she enjoyed the benefits of a pristine brand, but she managed to unravel that in just one short week during the promotion of her latest movie, It Ends With Us. It's hard to believe now that Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith were once an adored Hollywood couple, with people marveling at the longevity of their marriage.
And then it came out that the whole thing was a sham. Literally, the whole thing a sham.
But now people wish that the two of them would just go away, or at least stop telling us about their cursed relationship.
Why am I not happy?
Even the Kardashians, who have dominated pop culture for a decade, are struggling with maintaining interest from audiences, all while Hollywood seems to be becoming more and more irrelevant with every passing year.
What? Right? No, he shouldn't have slapped Chris Rock, and she shouldn't have been all, "My marriage is amazing." Huh?
Things seem to be a far cry from the golden age when Hollywood was the dominating source of entertainment, and its stars the societal focal point. So how did that star power evaporate? In the early days of Hollywood, stars were part of a studio system, and their public image was carefully crafted. Interviews often took place in studio control settings, with publicists orchestrating the questions and sometimes even providing pre-approved answers.
Yeah, a lot of the time. That's what we see in politics. We see a lot of that. The crafting of questions and answers, the pre-approval of things, especially when it comes to heads of state. And this was very much the same with celebrities.
stars were promoted as larger-than-life figures, with interviews focusing on their glamorous lifestyles rather than personal views or controversies. Interestingly, the stars themselves often came from humble beginnings. Clark Gable's father was an oil driller. Jimmy Stewart's father ran a hardware store. And during World War II, Stewart enlisted as a pilot and was
That I had no idea.
Jimmy Stewart's father ran a hardware store, and during World War II, Stewart enlisted as a pilot and was a decorated war hero.
I had no idea Jimmy Stewart was a war hero. I wish we had been allowed to know that stuff as like free open knowledge.
Even with all their fame, a lot of Hollywood stars lived quite simply, opting for farm or ranch living, and remained quite grounded. Today, celebrities seemingly live in a completely different universe. So in order to maintain their connection to their audiences, they share tidbits of their lives on social media or through the press, all of which is heavily filtered, airbrushed, curated, which works out to one simple statement. They're bloody show-offs.
Yeah, it's fake, and they're fake show-offs. They're bloody fake show-offs.
They show off their body, their vacations, yachts, their mansions, closets, purses. Hell, they even show off the purses that they give to their children. It's so strange. I don't begrudge anyone their success, but when did it become acceptable to flaunt your wealth?
I don't know. That's a very good question. When did it become acceptable to wave your wealth in other people's faces? Because it used to be, it's nobody's business how much money I make. So that's like, I don't understand where we came up with this whole flaunting wealth and all that, when it used to, like I said, it used to be, it's none of your business how much I make. You don't need to know that.
This, of course, was the strategy that the Kardashians have built their entire empire on, projecting a life and an image that seems unattainable. Using plastic surgery, they've changed most of their features over the years without owning up to it, and peddled products and
literally like lying about having plastic surgery and just, no, this is my body.
Fitness techniques that would supposedly help their fans get there too. While this worked for many years and drove sales for their various lifestyle brands, ultimately their fans have gotten sick of their ongoing lies and the vast damage they have levied on beauty standards. After all, it's the Kardashians that have been the template against which most women have held themselves, only to now hear Kylie Jenner frustrated about how unfair it all is.
Even if I did get so much surgery, I still don't think it's okay to talk about someone's looks. I agree. Like, this is really mean.
Oh, Muffin. Oh, Muffin. This is really mean. I don't understand. Even though I've gotten all this surgery and demanded all this attention, that's just really mean.
Darling Angel Cutie Pie, you are the one who set the standard. You don't get to complain about it now. But the Kardashians have plenty to cry about, since business hasn't been great. The viewership for their show is significantly down, and their old antics are no longer working. The Kardashians also perfected manufactured authenticity, where through their reality show, social media presence, and relationship with the press, they have put a version of themselves designed to seem authentic. In reality, it has taken many professionals, like publicists, marketers, plastic surgeons, producers,
and Kris Jenner,
personal assistants, and many, many more to
don't forget Kris Jenner. It's also taken Kris Jenner.
Pull it all together. Now you might say, how is that any different from the highly manicured image that the studios created for the old Hollywood stars? Fair enough, but the difference comes down to the purpose of the image creation. During the Golden Age, the studios used the interviews to project an aspirational version of celebrity. Polished, poised, well-spoken, and well-dressed.
Yeah, I would not call any of the Kardashians well-spoken. I'm gonna say that right now. I do not think a single one of them is well-spoken.
Their personal opinions were completely omitted so audiences could easily believe them as whatever character they embodied on the silver screen.
Yeah.
And the movies served a very crucial purpose for people, telling epic stories of heroics and timeless values like bravery, integrity, and fighting for the greater good.
I think that's why having celebrities on Twitter kind of sucks, because you get to see just how batshit insane their opinions are. And you, like, compare that to the characters they played, and you're like, oh my god, that sucks.
Movies gave people a brief opportunity to escape from reality, but what stayed with them was the excitement of witnessing a great tale. It gave them an opportunity to experience the ideal. Some people might say that this is a testament to the simplicity of audiences back then, no longer needed by the sophisticated modern audience.
I would disagree. I would wholeheartedly disagree with that. I don't think audiences were any more or less sophisticated. I think that it's really behind the whole crafting of a persona.
But they would be wrong. The reason The Lord of the Rings has been so enduring, despite being 20 years old, is because it stirs in the viewers the same emotion like the old epics. Yep. Turns out we like to be awed, we like witnessing heroics, and we like hopeful stories about good defeating evil.
That's why, even though Braveheart is so historically inaccurate, we like watching it, because it's just so epic. It's heartbreaking. It's heart-wrenching. Sad they don't realize how they're ruining their faves, or they do see it and they're paid to, or they do realize it and are peddling their cultural, or they're peddling their influence for cultural degeneration. That's a conundrum there, Parody Bear.
Truth that Hollywood has not just forgotten now, but modern writers actively engage in the opposite, telling nihilistic stories with the lowest form of human behavior on full display.
True.
Meanwhile, the stars themselves, now in charge of their own branding, use their publicity machine to curate an image that feeds their narcissism and their bank accounts.
Yes. It's not about being the best actor you can be anymore. It's just, how much shit can I flaunt? How much shit can I show on my Instagram?
Hollywood is the narcissism and merching machine. The good thing is that the more audiences have been exposed to this new celebrity behavior, the more they've learned to see past the
manipulation. They don't realize how they're ruining their lives. Yeah, it's true.
Speaking of manipulation, have you wondered how much the mainstream media is trying to manipulate all of us, especially leading up to the elections? If so, please consider checking out Ground News, which is a news comparison platform that gathers news from over 50,000 sources around the world every day. You can check them out for yourself using my link, ground.news/baggage claim. For every news story, I get a quick visual breakdown of the total articles published, the outlets covering the story, with the war link in the description. By the way, Ground are now able to see past the manipulation tactics that celebrities have been using. This became particularly obvious with the recent situation with Blake Lively, who for years enjoyed purely positive publicity.
I don't know what Blake Lively did. Let's see here.
Is until she used the
I don't know what
who for
Blake
years
Lively
enjoyed purely positive publicity. That is until she used the promotion of It Ends With Us, a movie about DV, to launch her new hair care brand.
Oh no. Oh no, that's not a good thing. We don't want to use domestic violence to launch your hair care. That's not a good idea.
When she was asked about the serious subject of her film, she repeatedly dodged the questions so she could get attention back to something far more important, like herself.
What an incredible summer you're having. I feel like you poured a lot into this movie, but then you turned around and you were just as supportive of Ryan. What is it like to... And my hair care company, Blake Brown? My goodness gracious.
Ew. Let's listen to that again, shall we?
I feel like you poured a lot into this movie, but then you turned around and you were just as supportive of Ryan. What is it like to... And my hair care company, Blake Brown? My goodness.
Jesus Christ. She's being complimented. She's being complimented on the work she did on the movie and being complimented for being a supportive wife. And she, oh yeah, and don't forget about my hair company. Oh, goodness gracious.
Gracious.
Meanwhile, an old interview showed that her sweet girl persona was all an act when she displayed intense mean girl behavior when a reporter simply complimented her on her publicly announced pregnancy.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
With her
Oh. Wow. Let's hear that again too.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What a horrible thing to say. Everybody knew she was pregnant. That was odd, wasn't it? she's just, what a horrible woman.
With her true colors revealed, her brand, along with her hair care line, have tanked. And honestly, people are just sick of the lies and hypocrisy. During the pandemic and the lockdowns, many celebrities were quick to remind the fans that we're all in this together.
Oh yeah. Only to be in those rich, fancy parties not wearing masks with 300 people at a gathering.
For reports showing many of them breaking the quarantine requirements and holding mass parties in their mansions.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong, I don't take issue with people indulging in their wealth, but don't pretend you understand the plight of the everyday person so you can seem relatable, but then turn around and throw a birthday bash on your private island.
Yeah, that doesn't work. That really, really doesn't work. You can't be like, we're all in this together. Don't worry, everybody. It's hard, I know. But we're here with you. And then turn around and be like, woohoo! Fuck those peasants. We're doing our thing.
That's called trying to have your cake and eat it too. Speaking of cake,
Let them eat cake.
this past Met Gala made a lot of people realize just how Hunger Games-esque it's all become. And you only need to tune into 5 minutes of the Oscars red carpet to
AKA dumpster for girls that get stuck out at low tide.
see the nauseatingly fake and endless compliments they all constantly give each other.
I am here with Ariana Grande, who looks absolutely breathtaking.
You look stunning. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. You're so sweet.
Ew. Ugh, that's simpering bullshit. Blech. Oh my god, you look so amazing. You look absolutely gorgeous. Oh, so do you, sweetheart. Oh my god, thank you so much. How much self-filleting do you need to do?
It's hard to believe that Oscar night was once a respected event focused on recognizing those furthering the craft of filmmaking. Now it's turned into an arduous circus of peddling clothes and making already pompous celebrities feel better about themselves.
Amelia, hi. Oh my god, hi. How are you? You look stunning.
Look at you, Pula!
Maybe you were trying to smell the carpet.
I was. It smells like your feet, which smell amazing.
Oh, thank you.
What the hell is going on? What am I listening to right now? Oh my god. What the hell am I listening to? This is so weird.
Thank you so much.
Hugh Grant has the right measure of it.
What's your favorite thing about coming to the Oscars?
Nothing.
Well, it's fascinating. The whole of humanity is here. It's Vanity Fair.
Oh, it's all about Vanity Fair. Yes, that's where we let loose and have a little bit of fun.
No, he doesn't mean the Vanity Fair Oscar party like Ashley Graham accidentally thought he meant.
No, he meant like, this is really embarrassing. It's vain. It's horrible. And like, I never thought that I would be defending Hugh Grant because I've never really liked him in any of the stuff that he's done. But this is This is crazy.
He means a display of vanity, ostentation, and frivolity. That's exactly what Hollywood has turned into, a husk of itself, hanging on to the fading reflection of its prior glory, and pretending that they somehow have
I mean, you keep asking about the Hunger Games, this is how it starts. I
higher moral ground.
I take responsibility.
This brings me to the most annoying aspect of the modern celebrity. Their insistence on telling people how to think, what to do, who to vote for, as if their ability to pretend to be other people makes them the philosophers of our time. I think Ricky Gervais put it perfectly.
If you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. If you win, right, come up.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Like, they've completely done something completely different that's not a normal job. They can't pretend to know how an everyday person lives because they haven't done that in forever and a day.
Accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and okay?
Ricky Gervais's jokes at the Golden Globes were so popular because he called out celebrities for their unbelievable hypocrisy of pretending to be so high and mighty while consistently protecting terrible people and sinking to whatever depths to maintain their statuses as the rich and famous. And this is why the age of celebrity is over. Movie stars used to represent an ideal, something to aspire to. As individuals, behind the scenes, they never made it about themselves, but focused on their craft, on their skills and their work.
The easier dance looks, usually the more time you put in on it. And if you can make the audience feel that the dance is...
That's Fred Astaire.
Thrown away and very careless. You've seen Astaire and Rogers, for example,
no,
floating around the ballroom floor. Well, they were killing each other, getting those steps together and working and sweating. But you must never let the audience think you're working hard. If you have to jump over...
They often act more bizarre than they sound. Yeah.
Or something. You can't make it look like that. It has to be very light and very effortless. And to do that is the most work. Yeah.
The reason Hollywood is on its deathbed now is because people stop putting the effort into making good movies. I don't just mean the writing, I mean there is no talent anymore. Actors used to be a triple threat. They could act, they could sing, they could dance.
That's true. The actors used to be able to do more than act. Like Robin Williams, for example. Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, frickin' Maggie Smith, who just passed away. Like, there are so many different actors that used to, even fucking Mel Gibson
used to work on their diction or how they held themselves. Now the actors just show up and play the same types of roles just over and over, in between Pilates, teeth whitening, and Botox appointments. And this is why Tom Cruise is the last movie star, because he can act, he can do dangerous stunts and make them look damn easy.
And that's what pisses me off, because I really don't like Tom Cruise. But yes, he can act.
But most importantly, he knows how to shut the hell up. I mean, we have no idea who he's voting for or what the state of his personal life is. We did once, frankly, a little too much. And you know what? It hurt his career. And he learned from it and zipped the lip. He refocused on his work, and in time, the mystery returned, and he was back on top. Meanwhile, the rest of the celebrities are just caught up in what about me land. And you know what? It's about time we left them there.
That was a good video. That was a very, very good video. That was a very well thought out, well done piece. I'm going to leave a like on this. That was very well done. I was very impressed with that. Let's see here. Oh, This has been a very interesting set of videos, and we're not even anywhere close to the halfway mark. Let's see. Let's do something. Ooh! Let's do this one. Let's do this video, because it seems gross. Supermarket ignored the rotten smell. 10 years later, they find an employee's dead body. Gross. That is called baggage claim. Yeah, baggage claim is the channel. So yeah, let's take a look at this video, because that just sounds horrifying. And this is from Brew. I think we've all watched Brew videos before. Okay, here we go. Let's see what this god-awful video is about.
You're in a heated argument with your parents. They won't listen to you. They think you've gone mad, but you know the truth. Someone has been following you. You're realizing there's no point in trying to convince your parents. Your pursuers will be here soon, and you've wasted too much time as it is. You run for the front door and wrench it open. Cold wind and snow rush in from the dark. You pause for a moment, realizing you don't have your wallet, coat, or even your shoes.
This is okay. I like this. I like where this is going. I like this. I like where this is going.
But if you don't leave this second, they'll try to stop you. And without another moment's hesitation, you plunge into the abyss. January 2019, a light snowfall was gently coating the ground on a cold winter morning as a group of contractors entered an old No Frills in Council Bluffs, Iowa. The grocery store had sat abandoned for the past 3 years.
They have No Frills in the States? Oh, cool.
And they were there to tear down the store to prepare it for renovation. Inside was reminiscent of a ghost town. It looked like nobody had been there for a long time. However, as they would soon find out, that wasn't entirely true. One of the workers was tearing apart a freezer in the back of the store, when to his horror, a limp body fell out from behind it. The decayed flesh was dark and flaky.
Ew! God damn! An actual preserved body.
Cold and lifeless eyes stared out blankly, right into his soul. Nauseous, the worker felt the image of the corpse seep into his mind.
Why run
where
outside,
it would live
right?
rent-free. Swallowing, he fished out his phone and dialed 911. When police arrived to inspect the scene, they found the body's decomposition was so far along that gender and age were unidentifiable.
Jesus Christ! How long has this body been here? This is nuts. This is nutso. Okay.
Council Bluffs Police Sergeant Brandon Danielson, however, immediately noticed the clothing, which matched a missing persons report. He contacted the parents of the person for a DNA swab and confirmed that the corpse belonged to 25-year-old Larry Eli Murillo Moncada, an employee of the grocery store who had gone missing 10 years prior.
10 years ago. So when he was 15, he had gone missing.
7 years before the store had closed down. But how did he end up behind the freezer? And surely the smell of a decomposing body must have been unbearable to customers and employees alike.
Right? Like, how can you have a dead, composing body in your store and not notice what that is? Like, I remember there was a mouse that got stuck behind one of the guest beds in my mom's old place, and it died, and we didn't know, and I was like, what the fuck is that smell? And it was a mouse, a tiny mouse. Can you imagine a body?
Well, apparently, It was. Customers on a local Facebook page complained about a rancid smell throughout the aisles, with one person saying that the smell was so strong back there by the coolers that it made me sick. I had to leave. Never went back again. Another woman even asked a butcher employee if there was rancid blood from cutting the meat in the store.
Ew. How can they're like, nah, it's fine. It just normally smells like this. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
It was no surprise to anyone that the store ended up closing, with a Google review even describing the store as pretty dumpy. But how did he get behind the fridge in the first place? In order to fully understand all the facts and hopefully answer this question, we first need to go back 10 years, to the night of Larry's disappearance. It was November 28th, 2009, 2 days after Thanksgiving. A snowstorm was brewing outside, and so was Larry's foul mood. Instead of cozying up inside beside the fireplace with his family, Larry was in the midst of windy flurries, in only a pair of jeans and a hoodie, running barefoot through the snow.
Jesus Christ, was he having an episode? Was he paranoid? Like, did he have schizophrenia?
Biting wind blew through the dark skies, nipping at bare skin and blinding the young man. But to him, that was the least of his worries. His only focus was running away from the person who was following him. But his family's worries began the previous morning after their son got home from a late-night shift on Thanksgiving at the local No Frills. He had been working at the store for 5 years now and had a seemingly normal day.
Wait, if he died at 25, or if he was... Oh no, he was 25 when he went missing. Okay, I got it.
But he was acting erratically. He complained about his racing heart and craving sugar, saying only sweet food could tame his heartbeat. Like any concerned mother would, Anna rushed him to the doctors to be prescribed antidepressants, believing things would get better in the morning.
How does that work? How does a racing heartbeat get fixed by antidepressants? I'm confused.
Anna sent him to bed, but unbeknownst to her, his mental health would only further deteriorate. The next morning, Larry began hearing voices, persistently telling him to eat sugar, and was convinced someone was following him. He was becoming more irritable, anxious. Around 6:15 p.m., as the snowfall outside began to storm, Larry was in the middle of an argument with his parents when he suddenly snapped, and without warning, ran out of his house, leaving his coat, shoes, and wallet behind.
Yeah, this sounds like a schizophrenic break.
His father, Victor, went chasing after him, but soon lost Larry in the darkness and powdery gusts of wind.
That's scary.
It felt like the earth had swallowed him whole, his father later recalled. Victor and Anna Murillo had no idea where their adult son had gone. After he failed to come back home the next morning, the parents filed a missing persons report with the Council Bluffs Police Department. Enlisting friends and family, they created a search party. They began with scouting out places Larry frequented, checking the most obvious locations he could be at. This brought them to his place of work. The group searched for clues inside and out of the No Frills, only to come up empty-handed. When employees were asked if anyone had seen Larry or if he'd been acting strangely, they were met with blank stares and shrugged shoulders.
That's kind of weird. Why wouldn't they answer him? Like, why wouldn't they just answer? Why are they just staring and shrugging? That's very suspicious, if you ask me.
All signs led away from the store, but deep in Anna's heart, she knew the supermarket was more important than it seemed. The police were doing their due diligence in the case, calling other law enforcement agencies and nearby detention centers. Yet they continued to come up short. When they investigated the store, there was no sign of him on the security footage, and the manager just said Larry wasn't working the day of his disappearance. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. Life seemingly moved on around the Murillo family, but they still couldn't shake the feeling that their son was still out there. And he was. In fact, turns out he had been secretly hiding right under everyone's noses. Anna and Victor received a call from the police department in January of 2019, notifying them that a body had been found in the abandoned no-frills by workers who were preparing the building for renovations. The corpse had decayed past the point where visual identification was possible, but the clothes it was wearing had not.
So they needed to identify him by his clothes, I guess, at this point. Those poor parents. That had to have been so scary, like watching their kid go through something like that and then having him disappear.
And the police believed them to be the same clothes that Larry had been wearing the night of his disappearance. To be sure, police needed samples from the parents to conduct a DNA test of the remains. The results confirmed their suspicions. It was the body of Anna and Victor's son, trapped impossibly between the back of a freezer and the wall. What they couldn't prove for sure, though, was how he got there. But they had a pretty solid theory. Larry was paranoid, hearing thoughts running through his head, fleeing from his family home in the middle of a snowstorm, barefoot and undressed. Finding a safe and warm place to hide from the pursuer would have most likely been the first thing in his mind.
Yeah, he wanted to find a place to hide. He wanted to get out of the snow. He was cold. He was scared.
The grocery store he worked at was warm and familiar, and being an employee at the No Frills, he likely had access to an alternative entrance, which would explain the lack of video surveillance. Once inside, likely still feeling anxious, he scoured the store for a safe place to hide from his imagined pursuer. And what better hiding spot than the one place in the store that not even management knew about? It was supposed to be used for storage, but employees would often hide up on top of one of the freezers in the back of the store to take unofficial breaks.
Huh. So he went up there and just died.
However, there was an 18-inch gap between the wall and the freezer, easily avoidable during well-lit store hours. But the darkness of the store at night, combined with his erratic state at the time, could have turned the gap into a gaping death trap that led him to fall 12 feet down into the space behind the freezer, about the size of a car tire.
That's terrifying. That's so sad. Could you imagine you're already scared that somebody's trying to find you and then you fall and you get trapped and then you're stuck?
Talk about claustrophobic.
No shit.
There's even a possibility that he accidentally rolled over into the gap if he fell asleep up there in his hiding spot.
Yep.
Depending on how he fell, it would have made it difficult for him to navigate the section between the freezer and the wall. 12 feet is a high enough jump with a head start. There was no evidence of foul play being involved, and his death was deemed accidental.
Yeah, it had to have been some sort of accident. That's so sad.
Whether it was from dehydration over a couple of days, immediate impact, or heart attack from panic, the ultimate cause of death remains unknown. What we do know is that Larry's paranoid thoughts of someone following him led to an absolutely horrifying and tragic fate. One of the weirdest parts to this story is that, apparently, employees continued to use their secret on top of the freezer break area up until the store closed down, which, honestly, is insane. It's not exactly easy to ignore the putrid smell of a decaying body literally right underneath your nose.
Yeah. Wouldn't there be, like, flies and stuff? Like, wouldn't there be, like, insects and... Ugh.
But why didn't they tell anyone? Sadly, it's likely the employees were more interested in keeping their hiding space, as well as their jobs. If they mentioned the smell, they would have also had to explain what they were doing up on top of the freezer. And who wants to tell their boss they've been slacking off? Tragically, the Murillo family never got the closure they wanted. The negligence and time it took to find his son still shakes Father Victor to the core.
I bet. I could never imagine just losing my kid like that. That is insane. Oh, that's... Ugh. That just makes me shiver with cringy grossness.
Our heads are spinning, finding this out after so many years, and it is distressing. It makes us feel a lot of pain. They closed the building, the freezers weren't working anymore. So how can a body just be there? He pleaded in an interview with the Daily Mail. Unfortunately, we may never know. Larry's body was found 7 years after the freezers he was trapped behind turned off and went warm.
Jesus. That is sad. That is just a tale of just absolute tragic neglect.
But somehow, this cold case still feels frozen. While bodies showing up in grocery stores is far from the norm, this isn't a totally isolated incident. Just a year before Larry was found, a store manager at a Winco food supermarket called a plumber, claiming to smell what he thought was sewage seeping from a pillar outside the front entrance of his store. A witness described it as some gooey liquid, and it smelled really foul.
Ew. Ew, 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 ew. It's gonna be liquefied body.
It was oozing out of the pillar onto the pavement. Smelled like death. Which turned out to be a very apt description, seeing as after the plumber chipped away at the pillar, a decaying human leg was revealed. Firefighters were called to help remove the corpse. The more pillar they chipped away, the more horrifying the state was. The person had been stuck in the pillar with one arm behind their head, and like Larry's, the body's decomposition was so far gone that not even the gender of the body was able to be identified.
How'd they get in the pillar? How does that work? How does this happen?
Because this happened in the summer, the body was literally being baked inside of the pillar at upwards of 100 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 38 degrees Celsius. The body was identified at the county coroner's office to be Raimundo Rivera. Raimundo had been fleeing the police in what they believed to be a stolen vehicle. After crashing the vehicle, he managed to scale up the roof of the supermarket, but that was the last time he was seen. Seeing the access point from the roof, the assailant likely chose the pillar to hide out in, but didn't anticipate falling deep in the pillar and getting stuck, where he was literally baked alive.
That's fucking terrifying. That's obviously foul play during construction. Maybe? Or what they just said about him crawling up and trying to get into the pillar, and falling? I don't know. This is weird.
Unlike Larry's story, police were able to pinpoint exactly what happened. But like Larry's, Raimundo's death was a terrible way to go. So, in the end, next time you're at the grocery store, if you smell something rotten, it might not be the food that's past its expiration date.
Ugh. Ugh. Oh. Really? That's just awful. What, a hollow pillar? Yeah, that one doesn't make sense to me. Why would the pillar be hollow? I'm confused by that myself. Right, I'm going to do a quick bathroom break and then we're going to get into the Trudeau stuff. So just let me put on the music and I shall return in a few moments. Okay. We're back. Let's go back to solo cam for a moment. All right, now we're gonna jump in to our lovely Canadian politics. Because our Prime Minister has issues. Where are we here? Where are we here? Justin Trudeau on Uncommon. This is a 930 some subscriber channel, and Justin Trudeau went on it. I think this was an MP's channel. And this is gonna be probably the most softball interview bullshit ever. But let's take a look. Let's see.
Joined by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and you should know at the outset there were no pre-approved questions. Now,
That's bullshit. I guarantee you that's bullshit.
before we get to that conversation, two quick public service announcements. We've started these weekly update videos. The week that was in Parliament, we of course call it Uncommons Weekly, and you can check it out on our social media at BEYNADE. The second thing is, do me a favor, if you like what we're doing, go to your platform of choice and leave us a positive review, because it does help us reach a wider, greater audience. And I could do a big preamble. You know who the Prime Minister is, so let's jump to the conversation. Justin, thanks for joining me.
Oh, so good to be here, Nate.
So good to be here, Nate. Yeah, this is already starting off well. This is already starting off nice and filleting.
I was laughing. So you, in the same week, you're looking at your itinerary and you're doing the Colbert Show, and then you're looking and you're going, oh, and I'm doing Uncommons with Nate. What is happening? How did these two end up on my schedule in the same week?
It's actually just right, because a big part of what I've been trying to do is have as many different conversations in different places about the challenges we're all facing. Because
Oh, really? Should I reach out to Justin Trudeau and see if he'll be see if I can interview him on my tiny fucking 1,300 subscriber channel?
One of the things we learn, and we've learned over the past years, is
Did I get this off the Fair Vote Canada Twitter page? I don't know. Oh, a National Post article. That's right.
if we don't go to where people are, then people aren't listening. It's not like I can give a speech on the steps of Parliament and know that most Canadians will have tuned in to the speech through the nightly news or through. No.
5 people are really paying attention.
Well, and it's great that they're there. I'm happy to give speeches for them. But if we don't start making space for real conversations that actually do filter through everything that people are either bombarded with or just busy doing in their lives, then we're not doing right in terms of either representing or serving people.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Well, aren't you just the most wonderfulest person ever? You're not doing right and you're not serving people. Ugh. What a nincompoop.
So for those who are regular listeners, they know a bit of my background. But for those who may be tuning in the first time, because we've got you joining us, this is a Liberal MPs podcast. But you and I have not always seen eye to eye. And I get asked all the time, well, what's your relationship like with the Prime Minister? Thinking that there's some, animosity as between us. How would you describe our relationship to sort of set the stage for this?
Okay, I was going to say, please tell me. I'm going to put this on 5, 1.5.
Well, when people ask me, so how do you put up with Nate? I actually laugh because you're actually one of the MPs that I have a better type of conversations with than many others. And we have we've had some pretty important conversations over the years, or at least crunchy conversations over the years.
What's a crunchy conversation? What the fuck is a crunchy conversation? Seriously. I'm No, we don't want the RCMP at the door. No, but this is ridiculous. What the fuck is a crunchy conversation?
But I've always thoroughly enjoyed it. And for me, it's a feature, not a bug, that I have thoughtful MPs who come at this with ways of challenging me, with strongly felt beliefs, with points where we will diverge on things. And
Jody Wilson-Raybould, Jane Philpott.
As long as I can have, as we have always had, and perhaps better than many others who are sometimes more divergent in their perspectives, as long as we can have really good conversations where you understand where I'm coming from and I understand where you're coming from, then that's almost the way democracy writ large is supposed to work. As people come together to vote on what direction the country's going to take.
Is it just
if we can't have these conversations, then
as long as the person has the same parts as him, he can have so-called crunchy conversations. But his accent makes it a little difficult. To 125? Okay. Playback speed 125. Okay.
And then nothing else is working in democracy.
Yeah, and reasonable disagreement is, I think, central to not only our politics writ large, but also to the Liberal Party, as I hope many of us see it. But when you think of the Liberal Party, when you think of you've got. I will never be an anonymous MP in the media. I think it's cowardly, but you've got any number of colleagues who are now speaking out in less than helpful ways, if I'm putting it more politely. You've got others who are going on record and raising concerns.
Oh, wait a minute. So liberals that are speaking out are not doing it in helpful ways, and they're not being good liberals? Is that what he just said?
Anonymous MP. You think of the Liberal Party, when you think of, you've got. I will never be an anonymous MP in the media. I think it's cowardly, but you've got any number of colleagues who are now speaking out in less than helpful ways, if I'm putting it more politely. You've got others who are going on record and raising concerns. And the concerns are mixed. Sometimes it's about direction. Sometimes it is about you. And they try to cast it as it's not about, fair, unfair criticism, but, how people feel. When you look at it, you're in this for 9 years. And I want to start with a bigger sort of question of why. You articulated the need for serious change heading into 2015. Many people like me got off the sidelines to participate because of that call to do things differently. When you think of what's to come next, you've got anonymous MPs raising complaints. You've got people who are frustrated for this reason or that reason. Governing wears on governments. Why do you want to do this again?
It's interesting that you go back to 2015, right? And the why we did this. Because first of all, there were a lot of people, telling us that we were wrong, that I was doing things the wrong way, that I wasn't, tackling the right things the right way.
And look, they were right. Weren't they? Oh wow, look at that. They told you that you were going about things the wrong way, and you said stupid things like the budget will balance itself.
There was a lot of skepticism about what that was, and it was an opportunity to actually give Canadians a choice that I think was absolutely necessary for the country, to say, okay, we've got to double down on fighting climate change and growing the economy at the same time. We got to step up on supporting the most vulnerable. We got to move forward on reconciliation. We got to figure.
And you still haven't moved forward on reconciliation. You still haven't, quote, stepped up. You still haven't done any of those things.
Figure out how we navigate through a much more challenging world that has impacts on us. Those are all things that the Harper government wasn't doing. And those were all the things that drove me to saying, yeah, Canadians need that choice to be able to make. Well, that's sort of the same choice they're going to make in the next election. Choice whether you moving forward on the fight against climate change, or whether we just basically throw up our hands and go back to leaning heavily on fossil fuels with the kind of short-term thinking that is going to end up being so costly for Canadians just a few years down the road.
Yes, it's gonna be super costly. Yep. We need to go completely no fossil fuel, everything just electric and wind.
Not just with the costs of climate impacts and wildfires, but also with the missed opportunities to participate in where the global economy is going. That question of, okay, at this time of backlash against progressive policies of inclusion and diversity.
What backlash against progressive policies? There's only backlash against expensive policies.
Are we going to double down on making sure that everyone gets
Stop
to participate
saying
or play? Are we going to
double
continue
down.
to drive wedges into people and
Holy slogans, Batman.
group Canadians into subgroups that are angry at each other? Like, all those questions
the thing
are
that you're
just as
doing?
important now, if not even more important, because back in the run-up to 2015, I think everyone got a sense that, okay, we just need to find an alternative to Stephen Harper, and whether it's Mulcair or whether it's Trudeau, the winds were turning in that sense. This is going to be harder in a lot of levels because it's a time where people are frustrated, but the choice to make a deliberate choice to say, no, we're going to continue and even double down on the things we know are going to get us.
He said double down again. He fucking said double down again.
No.
He said
Double
it
down
again.
wasn't the weird thing. You didn't hear where he said drive wedges into people?
No, I thought he said between people.
I swear I heard drives wedges into people. I swear I heard into.
Better, which is more protection of the environment, more inclusion of people, more under.
Into people? I swear I heard him say that. Are you at it?
No, let me back up. Hold on.
It's 30 seconds
Like
back.
all those and a double down on making sure that everyone
Oh my God!
progressive
I just backed it up to another double down.
policies of inclusion and diversity. Are
No,
we
because I have nothing to. I'm sober.
backlash against economy's going? That question of, okay, at this time of backlash against progressive policies of inclusion and diversity, are we going to double down on making sure that everyone gets to participate or play? Or are we going to continue to drive wedges into people? And
He did say it. He did say drive wedges into people.
down on making sure that everyone gets to participate or play? Or are we going to continue to drive wedges into people and
Again.
Are we gonna?
For the clip.
I don't want to hear double down again. If I have to hear double down one more time, I'm putting this on the brakes.
Hit 7.
Oh wait, I'm in the wrong window.
There, you're good. Look, you were there. Now go. You can hit play, but yeah. You can still
a
talk.
growing population? So getting that right requires a level of clear-eyed thoughtfulness that the pandemic certainly threw a wrench into. But as I look back, could we have made the shift, or should we have made the shift to integrate temporary immigration into our levels plan? Because we have that sort of, we talk about permanent residence as a levels plan, and then it's sort of a little more province-driven, business-driven for the temporary workers and the students, that we should have said, no, years ago, okay, let's put it all in a cohesive thing and take a careful look
Now I'm picturing Justin Trudeau with a golf wedge.
at housing starts. But we're doing that now in a
Smashing people in the head.
very real way.
I have 2 more questions. One is you've got 2 tough by-election losses, and we, Karina and others rightly are articulating, we're listening and we recognize that there's a need for change. And you even said, people, if it's a change election, what change do you, if you're self-reflecting for our party, for cabinet, for the way you govern, for the way you individually approach communicating and delivering for people, or managing your own caucus or managing your colleagues, what change are you reflecting on?
Well, there's a lot of things that were particular to those by-elections. There's lots of factors that maybe I wouldn't have been able to control.
If there's
Okay. Good on this guy. Good on this guy.
One of the things that I know that I would have liked to have been able to do earlier is get the candidate in place and working the ground for longer. I mean, you benefited in your, which was not an automatically
long
easy
nomination,
way.
and then knocking doors in the snow.
Exactly. No. And I did that too. I had a whole year to be a nominated candidate before I won my first time in Papineau in 2008, and in taking the riding away from a really strong Bloc MP. And it was the work on the ground that did it. In both of these by-elections, we didn't give Leslie enough time on the ground. We didn't give Laura enough time on the ground. And that's something that in this age of
enough time on the ground. What are you going to war? We didn't have enough boots on the ground for long enough. God damn it.
Information overload.
I agree with that.
Being able to
but
send
that's more
people out to knock
tactical.
on
Like
doors.
I think that, and that's sort of like a same as it ever was. Like we always need more time on the ground. You'll hear Brian May talk for years about early nominations, and I agree with all that. But do you think there's something larger? So here's one example.
Yeah.
And then I'll leave you with an opportunity with my last question to do your own kind of rant. But
what?
Just on an interpersonal side, like I'm nothing if not persistent, and I've had no issue with FaceTime and building a relationship, and we don't always see eye to eye. But when people are like, "Oh, when was the last time you talked to Brian?" I was like, if I want to bother him, I'll bother him, and he will allow me to bother him.
It's a nice break in the day, actually. Usually when you come in.
No one else says that, but regardless, not all of my colleagues feel that way, and I'm not going to get it into
What? This is the most backhanded, side of the mouth, ass kissing, but also like you're a fucking asshole I've ever seen. This is weird. 'Cause this Nate guy is kissing his ass, but at the same time going, "You're an idiot." And Trudeau doesn't even see it. Trudeau just sees the ass kissing part. He doesn't see from the side of his mouth, "You're a fucking moron, and you're ruining the fucking party, and everybody wants you gone. Oh, but I love working with you, and we always, we may not have a good, we may not always have, agreeable conversations, but it's always a nice break in the day, and you fucking idiot, what the hell is the matter with you?" He doesn't see it! Oh my god!
To the SNC stuff. I'm not going to read Jodi's book, but there was an excerpt in there where she didn't have your cell phone number. I found that kind of astounding.
I'm not going to read Jodi's book. Why? Why? You don't want things, you don't want the truth to be told? So you're not going to read the book?
And I don't know if Jagmeet Singh had your cell phone number, but if you were, part of me thinks if he did, and if you were regularly texting, if he felt like he was more attached and involved and connected, maybe he doesn't I know there's shameless politics at play there regardless, so maybe he does, but maybe he doesn't. Because politics, like
maybe he doesn't walk away from Saka, you mean? Or
maybe not in quite the same way. Maybe not in quite the same way, because maybe he does. I'm not saying maybe, but I'm just saying everything depends on relationships. Like Charlie Angus isn't going to screw me the same way some other NDP members are, because I have a relationship with him. Okay. I'm not going to go after Michelle Rempel in the same way because I have a relationship with her.
Is it just me? Or are they sitting here just showing their hand right now? Like, it feels like they're just openly showing their hand in regards to what their strategy is.
Everything's relationships, and when you think of changing things in some way, does that enter the conversation?
Well, listen, I mean the example with Jagmeet is an interesting one, because we created Saka together, because he just had a baby, and we just come through a brutal, grueling election where the NDP went around saying that we've done nothing as a government, right? I mean, you can say we've not done enough, but saying we didn't do anything was a really cynical ploy that undermines any faith that progressives have. And while we elected this progressive government,
it was easy to run against, but
it was, but it hurt us. And I said, you know what, we got to get past this. We got to. And I sat down with him, and I actually developed a really good working relationship with him, and we'd have great conversations about a whole bunch of things.
This feels so weird. This feels so weird to listen to.
And we'd get into policy, and we'd get and I'd meet with him and talk with him in person or on the phone every few months for the entire duration of Saka.
Okay.
And then when he decided to end Saka, he didn't even call me. Right? There was so the relationship obviously wasn't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Where I know that if I had chosen to end it, it would have started with a call to him, where I would have said, you know what, Jagmeet, it's not going to work. You make those tough calls. I don't know why he didn't reach out to call me, because I know what he cares about. I know.
You don't know why he didn't reach out to call. You don't know why he didn't reach out to call you. Really? You can't figure it out. It's escaping you.
With that description, I couldn't tell if he was talking about his relationship with Sophie or with Jagmeet or with Macron.
No, but this is... How can he not know why Singh didn't call him?
He does, but he doesn't want to admit it because he's a giant bitch. What can we do about it?
The things that matter to him. I know he is genuine in wanting to see this country move forward in more progressive ways. For him to do that way...
I'm trying to... yeah.
It bugged me. And it
bugged me.
It bugged me. And it bugged me because I know these things matter to him, but having politics sort of kick in and him having to deal with pressures from his caucus or his base or whatever,
and the by-election,
and flip that, and the by-election, like all those things just sort of emphasize for me, okay,
I didn't have a friend like I thought I did. He wasn't my friend. I thought he was my friend.
Wouldn't do that. And I still believe, and there's no hard feelings on it. We'll be engaging in that. So listen, I know that Jagmeet really cares about the environment. I also know he doesn't know what to do about the environment. I'm happy to say that and argue with that. But I'm like, I know what we can do about the environment. I'm demonstrating how to reduce emissions and grow the economy and put money back.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Not.
Back in people's pockets. So come on board. And for him to say, oh, maybe we're not in favor of carbon pricing, it's like, oh, come on, really? This is why you wanted to step out of SACA? Because you're going to try and cozy up with Poilievre or get away from the difficult conversation about how we continue to fight climate change? I mean,
cozy up with Poilievre. Really? That's what you think he's doing? Where does it seem like he's being at all cozy with Poilievre?
Hard things are hard sometimes, and it just sort of...
Hard things are hard. There's the slogan again. Hard things are hard.
Sort of disappointed me that he didn't pick up the phone and say, okay, this is time.
All right, so this is my last question, and
I hope it's about all the times you voted against me in the House.
No, I wasn't. I mean, like, people know that, but what are we gonna? We could go down a rabbit hole and talk about, drug policy. We go down a rabbit hole and talk about animal welfare.
What I would talk about is why it matters and why I think it's a strength of the Liberal Party that people can vote against the party on a whole bunch of different things. And it's I guess we don't have
a bunch of different things. Not everything, mind you. But a whole bunch of different things.
I have to debate it because I agree, but this is a bit of a preface to the last question because I was a young lawyer and I left that. I left a more lucrative career. I didn't have kids at the time, but I love my wife a great deal and spent less time with her. Yeah. And I left all that to make a difference in politics. I believe it's the most important way to make a difference. I was able to represent my home community. Nobody knew who I was in the broader political picture. You're probably anyone looking at Beaches East York at the time is going like, "Who is this kid?" And like, maybe he wins, maybe he doesn't, but he's not going to help us win. When you look at the ledger of name recognition, and but you had open nominations. Now I know people will complain about different nominations. In my nomination, I wouldn't be doing this, but for that commitment that you made in that leadership of doing things differently and more bottom-up democracy. I wouldn't have run for you if it weren't for your commitment and your leadership to empowering parliamentarians.
What side of the mouth thing are you going to say now?
Which I think is critical, and it's not just better for our politics; it is, of course, better for our party. So I don't think we have to. Debate it. I think it's a. You've already said it's a feature, not a bug, in the course of when we started this conversation. I do think, though, that I was deeply motivated to make a difference and to leave, in part because of this idea of doing things differently and building something new. 9 years in, it's different, right? It's and I'm still. I might not be the person on the ballot in Beaches East York, but I'm going to help no matter what, and I'm not walking away from the cause. But you have a lot of people who aren't like me, who are still in the thick of it, who are on the sidelines, people who have volunteered in the past. And what is your message to people who were just so excited heading into 2015? And not everything's been. I forget what you said. Not everything's unicorns and whatever in Canada. Well, not everything's unicorns and whatever when you're governing either. What do you say to them to motivate those, in many cases, Liberal volunteers? What do you want to leave them with to say, I need you now, and this is why I'm in it, and I need you to be in it too?
Yeah, what's your William Wallace speech there, Trudeau? What's your Braveheart call to action. What's it gonna be?
First of all, to go on the specific examples, then to get larger. The same things that drove us then to make sure that people were strong voices for their communities in Ottawa, as opposed to being, well, as we were first running, Stephen Harper's voice in their communities, which was what most Conservative MPs, now they're Pierre Poilievre's voice in their communities, but that's what it is.
You.
Saying something like, okay, it's going to be free votes for members of the Liberal Party, except for things that are explicitly in the platform, because that's what you get elected on, things that are confidence, because we're a team that needs to stay in power, and things that go to the heart.
Most importantly, party members have to toe the line on confidence matters. A major flaw in our system. Yep. Very true.
The charter, because that's what a Liberal is.
That was a thoughtful way of articulating it.
And we've been consistent on that, and that's still very much our place, and it's still very much in contrast with the approach that the Conservatives have. All right, and that's still an active choice. Open nominations, same thing. It was really important in 2015 that everyone have open nominations, partially because we were trying to build an entire new team. We're down to 35 seats, and I said, you know what? Each of you 35 who are still here, you should be able to take on and win any challengers, and we're going to do it right, because it was a full reset for
I thought it was a lot running for leadership last year. I was, and very much of the same commitments I was making in that on the Democratic Reform side was consistent, because that's what motivated me to get involved.
Yeah, and that's something I still believe in. I mean, now we don't need the same level of reset in people. We perhaps need it in policy and a few different things, but
yes,
we have appointed people from time to time, and very rare.
You need a large reset, my friend. You need a very large reset. Let you deluded bastard.
Exceptions, but the leaning in on open nominations is still a huge priority for me, because it's so great.
I agree.
Now, how do you motivate people who've been perhaps sitting on the sidelines? First of all, there's sort of the negative way of that's an important driver as well. People look at Pierre Poilievre and they imagine the damage that he'll do. Canada cannot go down that road. People who do remember Stephen Harper do remember all the negatives out there and say, oh my God, this will be even worse, or this is a challenge. And that motivates some people. But Liberals don't get out of bed to fight against something. We tend to fight for things. We want to know what that vision is, what that ambition is, what the excitement is about.
We want to fight for a cause. That's why we fight things all over the place now, because we have no cause.
The future. And that's really what I've been focused on articulating, and what we will be articulating over the coming months, over the coming year. Hopefully we get to October of next year, because my son, my eldest, who was in utero.
What? They do fight for three things.
Because my son, my eldest, who was in utero while I was running for the nomination. Sophie was pregnant with him when I was running for the nomination of Papineau, will be old enough to vote for the very first time in the next election. So
wouldn't it be great if his oldest son voted for a fucking Conservative MP? Because behind that voting screen, nothing matters but you and that pencil. Nobody knows what X you mark down unless you say. Wouldn't it be fucking hilarious?
So that for me is a beautiful bookend, and it's something I would not voting that. Although he did ask me why he didn't get the Canada carbon rebate. That I said no, I get that check at home. I did because some of my friends got it. I goes, yeah, but your friends live on their own. That's a different thing. So it's in your. That's a good line. I'll give you the last.
My friends got it. Well, it's because they haven't moved out. That's funny.
But what is the positive, ambitious vision of this country that we're putting forward? And the challenge is, that's a different thing. So it's in your. That's a good line. I'll give you the last. But what is the positive, ambitious vision of this country that we're putting forward? And the challenge is, because everyone says, okay, what's the new vision? The things we've been fighting for 8 years. Environment and economy,
it's been
inclusion,
almost 10.
Progressive values, defense of individual rights, respect for everyone, non-polarized politics that focus on bringing people together. All those things that we've been fighting for are not just still important, they're more important in this upcoming election than they ever have been. That's on the line. Canada has built actually an edge, an advantage over so many other countries in the world because we've been leaning in the right way. And
I don't feel like Canada is very edgy in comparison to the other countries that we talk about. I don't feel that very much, but okay.
Retrograde forces that are pulling back and saying, oh no, this is why we're doing badly. This is fighting against climate change is why Canadians can't afford their groceries.
No. Not fighting against climate change, specifically the carbon tax.
Which is a massive oversimplification and, as been shown by many experts, just wrong, but certainly bodes poorly for the future. All those things remain at the heart of what we're fighting for. How we wrap that up into a compelling, ambitious vision that gets people out into the streets to be a movement like we were in 2015 that is going to be tackling Pierre Poilievre with that same enthusiasm that we did 9 years ago. That is the single-minded focus that I have over the next few months as a party leader, even as I continue as Prime Minister with a single-minded focus on actually delivering the things that are going to get Canadians back to a place of positivity and ambition. Because that's what we need, and that's the place where Canadians naturally sit in. Right now, they look at me and they're not feeling it as strongly as I think we need them to when the election rolls around.
What the fuck? They look at me and they're not feeling it as strongly as much as we might want them to, especially when the election rolls around. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's very true. That's very, very true. All right, apparently I'm going to take us to another Trudeau craziness. Justin Trudeau embarrasses himself with startling cringe at an airport. Oh, this is gonna be bad, isn't it? This is gonna be bad. Okay, let's take a gander here at this.
I just invite people to pull back the curtain like the Wizard of Oz and just see what's back there. Alabama's Alabama. Weird admiration of Alabama and Alabama.
It wouldn't be Canada if there wasn't scandals, corruption, and cringe. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David, and today's top stories, we've got Justin Trudeau in the ultimate cringe clip where he pretends to be an air traffic controller with his kid.
No. Please, no. Please, God, no. Please, God, no. Why am I doing this sober?
No, I'm not joking. We've got some back and forth in the House of Commons. We've also got Mark Gerritsen and Mark Holland getting grilled on the street, among some other stories. So let's jump into this. We've got a clip here of Chris Dacey talking to Mark Gerritsen. Remember the guy who accused Cat Canada of being paid off by Russia?
Yeah.
Then had to submit that apology.
Wait, what?
Didn't Trudeau just talk about how his kid's about to turn 18?
He has 3 kids.
Yeah, so which one did he do this with? Little ones, okay. Not so bad, because I do this kind of shit.
We'll see.
Did you happen to read that message you just walked over? Very busy man, eh?
You had to apologize to Cat Canada? How did that feel? Are you embarrassed by that?
The rhetoric coming out of this government about people like me and trying to do the job the media won't. You're calling us right-wing extremists. You're saying we're dangerous. I don't think we're dangerous at all.
Your apology was
I think
fake,
your corrupt government is quite dangerous, though.
Your apology was very fake.
Scandal after scandal.
Just like you.
We need an election. Quit holding us hostage.
That was kind of cringy itself. You thought she was in jail?
I thought that... Is that who I think it is?
Who?
Cat Canada? Because listen to the voice I just heard. Back it up.
That wasn't...
I think your corrupt government is extremists. You're saying we're dangerous. I don't think we're dangerous at all.
Your apology was
I think
fake,
your corrupt government is quite dangerous, though.
Your apology was very fake.
Scandal after scandal.
Just like you.
We need an election. Quit holding
embarrassing that you had to apologize to Cat.
us hostage.
Ooh, he doesn't want to acknowledge their existence. I mean, Mark Gerritsen is just a piece of garbage. He's a just terrible human being. Next up, we got the ultimate cringe clip of Justin Trudeau and his son Xavier. As Josh Ryan says here, the Puts from Papineau gets his photographer to film him and his son pretending to be air traffic controllers. Did you see any flying flaming pine cones on your flight up north, Justin?
Oh yeah, the flying flaming pine cones. I forgot about that. That was.
So if you're not familiar with the flaming pine cone thing, when he was going back and forth with Pierre Poilievre the other day, Trudeau had an outburst where he's talking about pine cones were flying kilometers through the air in Jasper. I should warn everyone, this is unbelievable cringe.
Damn big runway, man. This is everywhere.
Damn big.
You just don't realize it.
We'll help them
Oh my god. It's his oldest.
Jasper. I should warn everyone, this is unbelievable cringe.
Damn big runway, man. This is everywhere.
Damn big.
You just don't realize it.
We'll help them in. Oh, yeah, you can see it coming in.
Oh, this is sick.
They're a little often like this, like they do on the aircraft carriers, right? Like Top Gun. Don't be cool. So Top Gun here.
What the fuck did I just watch? What the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, we're now ready. All right, we're gonna help this plane in. Nice and steady. There we go.
The music is so
Keep
bad.
going towards us. Yeah, little right. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
I was expecting a 6-year-old. So was I, because he has one.
Yes, yeah, little right. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Coming in, and ready in the turn, and we're turning on. There you go. Now you better not blow the landing. Now we set him up so nice. We get to do the best things. We're in the north.
Only a narcissist would say that. He better not mess up the landing. We set him up so good. Like this.
Wow. Okay, that was weird.
Only a narcissist would say that. He better not mess up the landing. We set him up so good. Like this guy, he can't turn that off. I can't tell if he's trying to help the plane land or if he's powering up like an episode of Dragon Ball here.
I didn't care about anything, and then it happened.
The Flaming Pine Cone sound like a good name for a punk band.
It does. It does. The Flaming Pine Cones, yeah.
Is that illegal? I can't say anything, I'll get in trouble. The kid's going to have to change his last name in the near future. They all have to distance themselves from what this man has done to this country. Fair statement. Too bad the plane didn't open its lavatory dump mechanism at the right moment.
Okay, that's a little bit much. Wait, what does?
Cringeworthy, make it stop. Man, he's such an idiot. I bet his kid was wishing he was anywhere but with this dunce of a father being a make-believe air traffic control.
Oh, it would. It would.
I didn't care about anything.
Next up, we've got some propaganda here. Opinion piece says Catherine Tate is why you need the CBC. Trust us because we tell you to. Canadians are way past that. Yeah, we definitely are. Correct me if I'm wrong, but nobody said they'll close the CBC. Just defund them.
Yeah. That's the thing. Everyone's like, they want to get rid of the CBC. No, they just want to not send public tax dollars into the CBC anymore. There's a big difference.
Them compete in what should be capitalist market. Sink or swim, just get off the taxpayer. CBC is done. There's no going back to the good old days. No more taxpayer money for any media. Yeah, I mean, they've lost our trust. They're toast. Next up, we've got more of these guys in the streets. So they're
what?
Take away the tax dollars.
Yeah.
Give them a chicken cannon.
Taxpayer money for any media. Yeah, I mean, they've lost our trust. They're toast. Next up, we've got more of these guys in the streets. So they're protesting it because they don't like the Jewish owner of this restaurant. Like, this has got to stop. If you're planning on driving downtown, well, think again, because these guys are blocking all the infrastructure. Who is funding this? Good question.
That is crazy. That is absolutely insane. You're protesting a Jewish-owned restaurant. Yeah, you're probably right, Fury Kitten. You're probably right.
This will get cleaned up real quick after Poilievre gets into power.
Yep.
Next up, we've got an update here from Michael Barrett on the $9 million NYC condo. It says here, Trudeau officials write Tom Clark gave the green light to purchase the condo on June 17th. July 24th, committee launches investigation into condo purchase. July 25th, Trudeau official issues bogus correction saying Clark was not involved. They're trying to change it now so he wasn't a part of it.
After issuing the initial June 15th or 17th email that was, as I mentioned, an initial overview, the Office of the Associate requested the leads to go through and pull together a more detailed chronology of events.
And please.
Once that information was available, I relayed that information to the minister's office.
She doesn't even know what she's saying at this point. But I just wanted to show you guys that little cringy little compilation here of Trudeau.
Maybe she's one of the ones that Trudeau talks about driving wedges into, because she looks like she's a fucking vampire herself. She's very pale, very like she's very pale.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Who are the far right again? Canada doesn't really have far right. Well, we have some fringe people that are like have some weird ideas, but nobody really pays attention to them.
The far right. Do we have far right in Canada?
Do we?
They all went to the States.
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, Rebel News would be considered the furthest thing off the top of my head aside from the literal KKK.
Or True North, or maybe, no, True North.
Well, yeah, they're pretty bad, but the far right is really, what would the far right, what is a far right Canadian?
Somebody who's religiously conservative?
I wouldn't count that. I don't count that. Like, because in the States, it's like, everyone's like, oh, the racism is what makes them far right. Oh, the homophobia. Okay, but that's like spread out for everybody.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just seeing it that way, and you're like, maybe we need to talk. Maybe we need to find a liberal and ask a liberal. But I don't want to talk to them. They scare me.
Okay, let's see. Let's see, where are we here? What should we watch next? Kind of want to watch something fun. We did that one. We did that one. Oh, the judge dismissed Valve's defense. Let's find out what this is about. Because I saw this video a couple days ago in DMs and I just haven't watched it. So let's take a listen and a look at this and see what there is to be seen.
For Valve, the 20th of October 2024 was not just any old day in court. That's because US District Judge John H. Chun on that day dismisses an appeal from Valve. It's an appeal, though, that impacts not just a single case. No, it impacts up to tens of thousands of cases in a situation that for Valve could get extremely expensive.
I have no idea what this is about.
Shot of this is that just 1 month later, Valve updated the Steam subscriber agreement for everyone outside of the UK, EU, Australia, New Zealand, and Quebec. And that means that, yes, it hits almost all of North America, which is their highest value per customer market. Now, the Steam subscriber agreement is important. It's the thing that you sign to have a Steam account. And in signing that document, you agree that you do not own the contents of your Steam library. That's what that does. You agree that you are licensing access to games through an account that is provided by Valve.
So wait, even if you buy the fucking game on Steam, it's not yours? Yeah. That's gay. Well, what happens if you don't agree to it? Are you not able to play on Steam anymore?
And this change resulted in loads of you watching today's video getting a pop-up announcing the new terms. Now, on face value, there are massive wins here for the consumer. There's no more forced arbitration clause, which is amazing. There's no waiving of your right to join a class action lawsuit. Those are really good changes. But they're actually not the full story. When you look deeper, there is so much more. Tens of thousands of cases, absolutely gargantuan amounts of money on the line, and particularly for Valve, one line that is targeted to get around that judge's ruling, and another line that, well, basically says, get on board or lose your Steam account.
There you go. There's that answer for you. No subscriber agreement, no Steam account.
Bear in mind, though, we are not lawyers. This is just our assessment of the situation. First, I've got to cover facts about the Steam subscriber agreement. This is the foundation of this entire story. The old agreement had you agree to settle any disputes via third-party arbitration and waive your rights to join a class action lawsuit. Okay. Those things have been removed along with some cost and fee shifting provisions. Now, arbitration is something that big companies do because, by default, it's to their advantage.
That's true. Steve Leto went over this about arbitration in a video that I watched the other day about the Uber people not being allowed to sue Uber because they were in a car crash and they ordered through Uber Eats.
And the TLDR is that rather than have a long back and forth with a court and appeals processes and all of that stuff that can take years, both sides instead agree to pay for a neutral third party, often that'll be a retired judge, to look at the case. And then both sides agree that they'll just go along with whatever that arbitrator suggests. And the idea here is that it's faster, it can be a bit cheaper, but most importantly, the company gets to solve this via arbitration instead of an open court. Because if it happens in an open court or in any way that could create legal precedent, that's obviously bad for the company.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense to me.
They don't want to have documents being examined by the public, and if a decision goes against...
That is technically true of all software licenses. You have license to use but do not have the software.
That's their core business. That could bite them in the arse later. But compared to most similar clauses, Valve's is benevolent. And where today's case becomes fascinating is Valve's benevolence actually hurting them. You see, they say that they will even cover legal fees regarding the arbitration for both sides as long as the payout, the final decision, is under 10 grand. So even if they were to win and you were to lose, assuming it's under 10 grand, they'll cover the fee. Wow. That is going to absolutely make all the difference, and it's the foundation of today's story. Now, the new agreement, of course, lets you take them to court, and because they're located in Bellevue, that will be a Washington court. The provisions like covering the legal fees are gone, and yes, you can join a class action if you want. You might be thinking then, why would Valve do this? On face value, it's a head scratcher, but when you go into the detail, oh no, this is absolutely in Valve's interest, and that's because they've just found themselves under a lot of legal attack. And as I said at the top of the video, a judge just dismissed one of their biggest rebuttals.
Okay, so this I hope will break down a bit more, because I do not know anything about what's going on here.
What we do over at Bellular.games is also in both our interests. Over there, we publish Loading Screen every day. You can even get it in your email. And, well, the most recent editions have been going into Blizzard's dirty laundry, which is fascinating, learning about cancelled games, the sorts of things that went on internally. And over there, what we do with Loading Screen, which you get every weekday, is we sift through all of the news this industry produces. We then bring it together, we put it in context, and we keep you in the loop, all free from algorithms and ads. Plus, of course, over there, you also get our videos ad-free, you get our research reports before, of course, I even see them, and in joining our community, you're supporting my mission and our team. So that's what's going on over there. Let's then talk about Valve and some intrigue. To state the obvious, Valve is a business. They are a business that I like. I love their games. I buy games on Steam if I can, in full knowledge of what the Steam subscriber agreement contains. The contributions to Linux gaming, handheld gaming, and VR are all incredible, yet a business is a business, and all changes have motivation. Okay. This one kicks off in 2022, where we saw Willfire Games sue Valve, alleging anti-competitive behavior. You see, technically, you cannot sell Steam keys cheaper than you do on Steam elsewhere. And it's very obvious why. A developer or a publisher generating Steam keys for free, then selling those keys on another store where Valve will get zero cut, but then still using Steam to distribute the game, well, that's obviously unfair, and
Yeah, that doesn't sound fair at all.
do not think Valve should, under any circumstances, have to do that.
No.
And with that, you'd think that it's case closed, that they really don't have an argument. But it gets a little bit deeper, because emails from Valve employees have surfaced as a part of that court case. And to quote one email, "We wouldn't be okay with selling games in Steam if they are available at better prices on other stores, even if they don't use Steam keys."
Ooh, that's not a good thing. That's not that. No, you can't do that.
And that is what really kicked things into high gear. Going through the internet, most people think it is only Steam keys, but these emails basically go against that. And there are more emails within the court case presented as evidence that back up the argument that it's not just the Steam keys. That then reinforces the anti-competition argument that essentially says that Valve is leveraging its dominant position in the market to reduce competition by enforcing price parity. And that means that, yes, you can go and sell your game elsewhere for cheaper, but if you do, Valve can just delist your game.
That's crazy. That's insane to me. Cause I'm a layman, right? So I barely understand this.
And the bit where it matters for competition is that if Valve has got a dominant market position, it's then not viable to not publish your game on Steam, meaning that it's an antitrust concern. And as much as this has got a developer and publisher
open source license, that makes sense.
Framing, it of course does impact customers as well.
I'm
it
trying to figure out
removes
how to
pricing
erase
as
my
an
old
avenue
computer.
of competition, and that does mean there's less competition in price, and that means that you will pay more money for games. Because when games are on sale, they've got to be synchronized with Steam. And any other times where you see discounts, as an example on Green Man Gaming, well, those are essentially workarounds using things like store credit. So you can see that at the very least, there is an anti-competition argument that can be made.
Yes, I see that. Like in my very layman, very low knowledge of this, I can see how anti-competition arguments can be made.
Now here's where things get spicy for Valve today. That case is not over, but it's a case that did happen in public court. Anyone can read the documents, and of course, if they think there's a monopoly, then all customers are hurt. And that means that any enterprising law firm could start a class action lawsuit. But of course, a class action suit needs people, and looking at the old Steam subscriber agreement, well, those customers agreed to waive their right to join a class action suit.
They surely did, which means that they can't join one anymore.
Something that Valve have actually had confirmed in court. But the thing is, this is a story about video games, and as gamers, we all know about creative use of game mechanics. Remember the subscribe.
Oh, okay.
Agreement. forced arbitration
Now I
only,
understand.
but Valve will cover all legal costs for cases
Thanks,
with a final
Fury
decision
Kitten.
under 10 grand. That means that our go-getting law firms simply realize that while they can't do a class action lawsuit, or at least they don't think they can, what they can do is launch thousands of arbitration cases. And even
That's
better,
true.
it's thousands of technically individual cases, and that means they would all be resulting in decisions under 10 grand. And so with that, Mason LLP and Zyger LLC enter the picture. Mason say that they are bringing tens of thousands of cases. Zyger say that they're bringing up to 75,000 arbitration cases against Valve. And of course, the Steam subscriber agreement says that Valve pays the fees either way.
Yeah, if it's under 10 grand, it pays their fees. That is, Jesus Christ, that is an insane amount of
That means that providing the
cases.
firms are, invoicing their
That's
time
like
at a
over
profit, which they
100,000
will
cases.
be, well, they think they don't have any risk. They're going to win. Valve was obviously not pleased about this. Valve argue that this is actually targeted extortion.
Nope.
And I think anybody can see their point of view. It's obviously not what the subscriber agreement had in mind. But think about it. If Valve were found to be breaking antitrust, that would actually impact all of their customers.
Yep.
And the reason why those customers cannot bring a class action lawsuit is because of Valve's own subscriber agreement that those customers had to sign. And so yes, Valve tried to have this dismissed, but obviously that failed. Judge Chun dismissed their motion without prejudice. And that is where chaos enters today's picture. That's
Okay.
because something else went down August 2024. 4 individuals decided to test a demand made in the Willfire trial to see if an arbitrator would decide that Valve's arbitration clause in the old agreement is even enforceable. And
Oh, shit. This is gonna get interesting.
turns out the arbitrator said it's not enforceable. And that means that our law firms could actually go for a class action suit, or they could try to continue as they are. But if they do try to do that, oh boy, Valve have got a response. And their response is to go straight for the Steam library. Remember that to access Steam, you must sign the Steam subscriber agreement. That is why millions of users recently got a pop-up on Steam that was alerting them to the new deal terms. But those terms don't just apply from now onward, they actually apply retroactively.
What? So does that mean if you don't sign the agreement and they're gonna like go after your older games too?
Here is the line that makes it crystal clear. You and Valve agree that all disputes and claims between you and Valve, including any dispute or claim that arose before the existence of this or any prior agreement, shall be commenced and maintained exclusively in any state or federal court located in King County, Washington. Yeah.
That's insane. That is absolutely bullshit.
It applies retroactively, and that means the high-level assessment here is that if somebody is in the Zyger or Mason cases, and they want to stay in the case, they need to delete their Steam account. And that might seem extreme to you, but that is actually the upshot. That is what happens if you decline the Steam subscriber agreement. And the Steam subscriber agreement makes this clear. Here's a line from the most recent version of it. Your failure to cancel your account prior to the effective date of the amendment will constitute your acceptance of the amended terms.
So if you don't cancel your if you either don't cancel your account or subscribe to, or click the subscribe button and you just leave it, they're just going to assume you subscribed and they're going to keep your account going.
And that is the bit that for Valve is just a stroke of genius. So many people in these cases will have just continued on with their Steam account.
Yep.
And in doing so, they've made it impossible, at least per the letter of the subscriber agreement, to continue in those arbitration cases. And going through a story like this, I totally get why legal dramas like Suits exist. It's so spicy. That means that for Zyger, they're up to 75,000 cases. Well, that is just going to utterly evaporate. Number one, by accident, from people just continuing to use Steam, and also from people who actually did read the agreement and realized, well, I could continue this, but you know what? I've spent $2,000 in my Steam account. I'm not going to delete it.
Yeah. Yeah, why? Why would you delete your Steam account? That's like, no. There's no reason to delete the Steam account. There's like, I think that's... I wouldn't do it.
Thing is,
but
this
I
is
don't
not
know.
the end of this story. It's merely a development. It is a major one, but it's not the end. The agreement lets people take a class action lawsuit. That is a distinct possibility, and it is one that is well incentivized. Remember that while they're always framed as standing up for the little guy, class action lawsuits make law firms absolutely ungodly quantities of money.
Yup.
Yeah, this was a hell of a story. And for another amazing slice of intrigue, you gotta check out this one next. The entire staff.
So that was well explained. Now I understand a little bit better about what was going on with this lawsuit. Let's see. I do understand a little bit more. While I'm looking for another video to look at. Huh? I'm just trying to pick another one from the list we have. Oh, Master Ken versus Scorpion. What's that one about? Is that what I think this is? Let's see this. This looks funny. Why is there no sound? There it is.
Master Ken here with another episode of Master Ken's Privates. With me today is Chris Casamassa, which of course in Greek means owner of a large house. He is the famous character from the movie Serpico.
Yeah, not Serpico. That would be Scorpion.
Scorpion. In some flippy-dippy martial arts movie a long time ago.
Mortal Kombat.
Right, exactly. And today he's going to be showing us some sort of movie move. What are you going to do?
I'm going to do the Scorpion Kick, the move that I use to set people up for my great finishing move.
Oh. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Twitch chat is full of weirdos? What's going on in Twitch chat? Why am I not getting Twitch chat spoken to me? Streamlabs? Why do you suck? Now I want to see what's going on in Twitch chat. Stream manager. Oh, of course. I'm not seeing anything. Thank you, Twitch app. You're super helpful.
All right. We'll just get you out of that red uniform and into the costume, and we'll be all set for that. You brought it, right?
No, I'm not allowed to have it.
I'm not allowed to have it.
All right, we'll see what we can do.
Are you kidding me with this? I'm Chris Casamassa, and this is the Scorpion finishing move. Get over here.
Did he just go, get over here?
Get over here.
What? I heard it, but he just went, get over here. Like it was so deadpan. He was just like he was ordering coffee. Like his get over here was like, I'll have a large coffee, please.
Where's hair and makeup? Are you guys even with the union? I'm calling my agent. I should have stayed with Batman.
All right.
What? Another one?
My first problem with Scorpio's Serpico move is that he's leaving his groin wide open when he's kicking. You don't want to do that when you're fighting in the street, okay? So if anyone ever cocks their kick like so, right in the groin, okay?
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious.
It's important never to cock your kick, otherwise you'll get kicked right in the cock-a-doodle-doo. Second thing is that if anyone ever pulls a weapon on you, you need to make sure that you use it against them, whether it's a gun or a knife, or in this case, a kunai, okay? If he goes ahead and shoots his weapon, I'm gonna catch it and give it right back to him, okay?
I love that. It's so funny. That's hilarious. Guy saying I'm a chick with a dick. Guy with an armpit fetish, and a guy asking if I'm really blind. Weird. That's in Twitch chat, apparently.
Fight.
This is funny.
Finish him. Get over here. Crouching Tiger. Master Ken wins.
Fatality. All right, that was another episode of Master Ken's Privates. I want to thank Chris Masawasa for coming out and doing his Serpico move.
Scorpion.
Do this for us. Hooah. Hooah. That's his famous line.
Get
Hooah.
over here.
Jax is hooah.
Over here.
Silly guy.
I did not know that.
Is this okay? Is it close enough?
Not literally.
Hooah.
Hooah.
Oh my god, that was too funny. Holy shit. That was great. Oh my god. That was too funny. Okay. Let's see. I'm not going to do question period because it was all a bunch of backbencher morons today. Huh? Did that. Did that. Did that. All right. I think I've done everything. Huh? Oh, DMs. Okay. Oops. Where is it? Let's go into the DMs and see what's here. Do 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 do. Expand. Expand the DMs. BetterHelp lost 97% in 3 years. Holy shit. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Okay. Here we go. Let's make sure the volume is up because it was not. Okay, let's put this on live scene. Here we go. And
is one of the biggest YouTube sponsors of the past decade and was exposed for exploiting vulnerable users, using unqualified therapists, and selling sensitive user data. It seemed like the scandal was the end of them, with tens of thousands of users unsubscribing, hundreds of angry comments on videos sponsored by BetterHelp, and their parent company stock crashing 97%. But now, they're back.
Of course they are. Because they're always they're the sponsor that doesn't do anything and never goes away.
Sponsoring more creators than ever. But are they actually better?
No.
Anxiety, depression, and many other mental health disorders are huge challenges for many. Not only that, but they've been on the rise for some time. Yet, simultaneously, traditional therapy is inaccessible to many people. It's expensive, it requires physical presence, and is frankly just less flexible than what online services usually offer.
That's true. Online therapy can be very helpful if it's done properly.
That's where BetterHelp came in. They launched in 2013 and they seemed like a game changer. Patients signed up and were matched with a therapist and had sessions via call, text, video, whichever they were most comfortable with.
Could you imagine having a therapy session through text message? That would be excruciating.
If they didn't connect with their therapist, they could be matched to a new one. No cost, no hassle. Not only that, but it was cheaper than most traditional practices, meaning that therapy was now far more accessible to those who needed it, which is great. Over the coming years, BetterHelp started building momentum. By 2018, they were sponsoring thousands of YouTubers, and the company exploded in popularity. The pandemic had confined everyone indoors, and demand for remote therapy was at an all-time high.
Yeah, if they had done this the right way, BetterHelp could have been an extremely lucrative company.
BetterHelp naturally capitalized on this opportunity by spending more than $7 million on podcast sponsorships in December of 2020 alone. They spent $38.7 million in total for 2020, making them the highest spender on podcasts. But during BetterHelp's rise, the cracks slowly began to appear. Firstly, users started reporting some strange experiences with their platform, many of which had a common theme.
My first therapist was 10 minutes late to our 10-minute meeting, our first initial meeting. And then she was like, oh, wow, we don't have a lot of time. And then she kept trying to sell me her book. So I contacted them and I got a different therapist. He was also late and just completely missed our first meeting. We set a second one. He missed that one. And then he just texted like, oh man, I'm so sorry. I was at my other job. And I was just like, what the
The quality of therapists varied wildly. Some saw their therapist cooking or shopping mid-session, which naturally makes patients feel uncomfortable. One patient, after discussing career goals, had her therapist send her a patronizing YouTube video to watch after their session that told her, "It's natural to want to do big things, even if it's never going to happen for you."
Ooh. Wow. That is not therapeutic.
Another patient had a therapist encourage them to put their baby up for adoption because their friend really wanted a baby. One Reddit.
What? What the fuck? Let's back that up a second.
If it's never going to happen for you. Another patient had a therapist encourage them to put their baby up for adoption because their friend really wanted a baby.
Wow, that is some shady shit right there.
One Reddit user shared a horrifying experience. He implied that his life was almost perfect and that I should be like him. At a certain moment, he wanted to imply I had signs of narcissism in me, and having suffered from narcissistic abuse pretty much my whole life, that was very hard to hear.
Yeah, I bet it was. These therapists don't have to be trained. They don't have to be vetted. Nothing.
I had never felt this unsafe with a therapist before. He admitted himself to being a narcissist. I couldn't stop crying, and every time I tried to say something, I would cry even more. He then said, "Now you have 1 minute to share your final thoughts before our time is over." Thankfully, this user received the therapy they needed outside of BetterHelp.
Good. Because holy shit, that's horrifying. to hear something like that.
However, despite their trauma and only using the service for less than a week, BetterHelp only refunded 50% of the month's subscription.
Oh, fuck
Putting the money aside though, what the hell was going on there? How are so many BetterHelp therapists so awful? Well, as it turns out, BetterHelp employed many unqualified therapists. According to them, it was the patient's job to verify if the therapist was qualified.
Yeah, no, that's not how that works. It is not the patient's job to verify if the therapist is qualified. It is the therapist's job to provide their credentials.
This one says that they don't guarantee the verification of the skills, degrees, qualifications, certification, credentials, competence, or background of any counselor. With BetterHelp, you'll be talking to professionals. Just beware that it's your responsibility to determine whether they are or not. It's your responsibility to determine whether they have any degree or qualification or certification or all these things.
Once users learned of this, the controversy exploded. BetterHelp quickly removed this from their terms in 2018, but the damage had already been done. The evidence was damning. If vulnerable patients
Like, have you tried just not being anxious and sad? See you next time, right?
experience horrible therapy, it can very well prevent them from getting help in the future, even from traditional practices.
My one session with a BetterHelp therapist re-traumatized me to the point where I don't know if I'll ever go back to therapy again.
Shockingly, that's not even the end of it. BetterHelp was concealing another massive problem that caught the eyes of the US government. Somehow, BetterHelp returned. The company has recently emerged with a wave of new YouTube sponsorships and a brand new marketing campaign.
And some of these YouTubers actually called out BetterHelp, and I'm like, how are you letting yourself be sponsored by them now?
In Q3 of 2022, they sponsored 392 YouTube videos. 1 year later, they sponsored just under 2,000 videos.
Jeez.
In March of 2024 alone, they spent $8.2 million on podcast advertising. Their marketing strategy is aggressive, as they are determined to recover their brand image and to claim back their market share. But have they improved their service? Well, their number of therapists has increased dramatically. In 2021, they had a total of 16,000 therapists, but by 2024, they have 34,000, a massive leap. What BetterHelp really needed though,
It's the child's job to figure out if the clown is a pedophile. Ooh.
wasn't quantity, it was quality. BetterHelp states that it only accepts 15% of therapists who apply, but the testimonies are still concerning. In 2024, a clinical psychologist tried the platform as a client and had a strange experience with their therapist. Seemed ill at ease and unsure how to proceed, she made inappropriate self-disclosures about her own health problems. When I mentioned the problem with night eating, I saw a weird expression come across her face, and she mentioned that she struggled with the same problem. Without much assessment, she offered solutions that were absurd. She suggested I monitor the night eating and give yourself a star as a reward. He described that his second therapist threw out a bunch of tips from her therapy trick bag and hoped that some might stick.
Give yourself a star for not eating at night like you're some kid.
And while they seemed like plausible solutions, she didn't investigate my experience in detail enough to know if they could be appropriate. The structure and setup of the platform may make therapists jittery, pressing them into achieving quick results and using superficial interventions. Another user who tried the platform stated, "My therapist was great, but definitely was not 100% present. She seemed distracted." BetterHelp still seems to place an emphasis on quantity over quality. This is bad, but it's made even worse by how BetterHelp markets its service. In 2020, the journalism website Jezebel began investigating something unsettling. As it turned out, BetterHelp was taking users' extremely personal information and selling them to advertisers.
Yeah, literally, they were selling their shit to Facebook and shit for more BetterHelp ads.
Jezebel stated that they began to silently slip data to dozens of third parties, monitoring our behavior online and signaling to companies like Facebook and Google and Snapchat and Pinterest that we were considering BetterHelp treatment. Facebook, for instance, is alerted every time a person opens the app, essentially signaling to the social media company how often we were going to a session and when we booked our appointments. BetterHelp didn't even deny the allegations, as they didn't see the issue. They stated that their methods were standard and that they typically far exceed all applicable regulatory, ethical, and legal requirements. However, this didn't exactly comfort users. Word of these practices soon spread and people were outraged. This was an immense breach of privacy. Many online platforms do sell user data, but this was different.
Yeah, this is counseling data. This is not just like your sign up shit for Facebook. This is like data for mental health shit.
Traditional therapy has something called a patient privilege. Information shared between a patient and their therapist is completely confidential because the details are extremely personal. Maybe it could be argued that app users' data is not technically covered by patient privilege, but it's definitely in gray area. I suppose BetterHelp forgot to mention this in their list of benefits over traditional practices. A storm was going around BetterHelp, and it was about to get worse. The US Federal Trade Commission took action against BetterHelp, and the list of accusations was damning. To capitalize on these consumers' health information, BetterHelp handed it over to numerous third-party advertising platforms, including Facebook, Pinterest, Snapchat, and Criteo.
It's just everybody got it.
Often permitting these companies to use the information for their own research and product development as well. BetterHelp also failed to provide consumers with proper notice as to the collection, use, and disclosure of their health information. The company didn't admit to any charges, but was ordered to pay $7.8 million in refunds to 800,000 patients.
That's not very much money though. For if you divide 7.9 million, or how much was it?
But was ordered to pay $7.8 million in refunds.
Yeah, if you divide 7.8 between 800,000, that's not very much money.
Funds to 800,000 patients, which equated to a pitiful $10 per person.
Yeah.
Most importantly though, BetterHelp was forbidden from sharing consumers' personal information for retargeting, among many other restrictions. BetterHelp's reputation was ruined, and many YouTubers promoting them started receiving severe backlash. After this, BetterHelp went quiet. At least for a while.
BetterHelp.
BetterHelp. BetterHelp. BetterHelp.
BetterHelp. BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
BetterHelp. BetterHelp.
BetterHelp. BetterHelp.
Therapy can be expensive, and the price of finding a therapist that you like and connect with can be overwhelming, which is why BetterHelp offers a more affordable alternative to in-person therapy.
But therapy can seem like this big, intimidating thing, right? Well, that's where BetterHelp comes in, because their goal is to make therapy less intimidating and more accessible.
So many fucking sponsors. So many YouTubers.
Consistently position themselves as the cheaper, more accessible alternative to traditional practices. On their landing page, they list all kinds of benefits you get with BetterHelp, which you don't have at in-office practices. Benefits include messaging, texting, phone calls, video calls, worksheets, and much more. The problem with this is that most of this is complete nonsense.
Yep.
Most professional in-office therapists offer most of these benefits, but that doesn't stop BetterHelp from putting a big red cross in all of these. BetterHelp isn't a replacement for traditional therapy. In fact, they even say this themselves. Our services may not be appropriate for every particular situation and/or a substitute for certain mental health needs that might require in-person therapy services. The terms also continue to say, do not disregard, avoid, or delay in obtaining in-person care from your doctor or other qualified professional because of information or advice you received through the platform.
It has to say that. Otherwise, they're fucked.
BetterHelp's therapists also cannot diagnose any conditions, even though many are qualified to do so. It's fine for BetterHelp to supplement other health services. It's also fine for BetterHelp to not diagnose patients, given that appointments are over call or text. But BetterHelp doesn't advertise themselves as an addition to existing therapy.
No.
They're
It advertises itself as an alternative to traditional therapy.
Marketing promotes them as the solution and replacement. It leads people into using their service, even if it's not the best solution for them. But that's not even the end of it. If we look at the big picture, something else is going on at BetterHelp. BetterHelp is actually owned by another company, Teladoc, which hasn't been doing so hot. Their shares peaked in 2021 at $293, and today they are down over 97% to $8 a share, and their income
Holy shit, $8 a share?
is even worse. The company has burnt billions getting to where they are, and they still aren't profitable, having burnt $1 billion in the most recent 12-month period. We don't have BetterHelp specific financial data, but the data that we do have is already not in their favor. In Q3 of 2023, BetterHelp had 459,000 paying users. Next quarter, that dropped to 425,000, then down to 415,000. These numbers continue to drop in 2024, which illuminates what's actually happening with BetterHelp.
People are actually learning that BetterHelp is an absolute garbage platform that lies about what it offers and lies about what it's supposed to do. BetterHelp certainly helped Boogie. At least he said so. Oh, my mistake.
The recent surge in marketing isn't a triumphant, defiant return. It's a last attempt to survive. The controversies caused an exodus of users, and it seems that BetterHelp is struggling to hold on to the rest or replace the ones that are leaving. The company may have inflicted too much self-harm to bounce back.
Too much self-harm. That's clever. I like that. I like that a lot. That's very clever. Whew. I'm hungry. And holy shit, I've been live for 2 hours and 45 minutes. I hope you guys have had a fun time. I've had a fun time. I'm gonna go eat something. And I may be back tonight or I may be back tomorrow morning for a combat. We'll see. But right now I need to go eat something and take my nighttime meds. So I will see you guys later on. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and watching. And if you're watching the stream replay, leave a comment saying Trudeau has issues. And I'll see you guys later. Have a